day. Oh my gosh, that was bad. But y'all, can y'all picture that? Like, I'm not dragging Jaden, but but like they were good. They were, if anything, they were too quiet. But it's just like Jaden wouldn't read the sentence.
He's trying to get you fired.
He said he didn't know they were in there, and that he was acting like he didn't
Everyone
know.
knows that people are like killed their presence. It's waiting over everything.
That's what he said. Also, okay, if they do come in, I'd say the big thing is not Sarah greeting them, though that is big, and it's not reading a sentence if I tell you to read it and like not arguing with me and just like going with everything I'm saying. It's making sure your mask is on, which like I say that ironically while mine is kind of down, but that is like the biggest thing to make sure that you get. Even if you're eating something, like stop eating it. You probably don't want to like, if you are eating, like make it like look really chill when they come in. But the mask is the big thing. Okay, let's actually start the class. The homework is the second part of that thing, so get that out for now because we're going to be going over that after I run through these 2 lectiones that y'all need to take like heavy notes on. So remember how I said I was like, oh, there's like only 2 lectiones for chapter 18, Cora. That's not going to be your homework. Clearly, I cleared that up. But let's still go over those lectiones. I'm still going to pick one of them for your test on Friday. The test is mostly first and second declension, but there will be that one sentence on it. And like once we go over them, it'll be very clear which one I'm going to pick. So that part won't be hard at all. But like I still want to do a translation part of chapter 18 before we move on to 19 next week, which is I mean it's crazy. What's there? But okay, so if she's gone, who's our backup greeter? You just want to go downstairs? What does that mean?
I need to get on that.
Yeah, go downstairs. Just go to another level of the building. Cora's our greeter. Thank you. And so if it is a lot of people, what, Keaton? Go get it, dude. And then like run through the hall like this or something. Or you use one of the gross used ones on the Lost and Found and catch COVID. Yeah, right. I mean that's what you should do. What else am I gonna say? So Cora's that. Yeah, don't freak out, guys. Like it is awkward. So like you can't even shake people's hands right now. So you're just like waving like, oh, what's this Latin? And then you sit back down like it's weird, but it doesn't matter. Like they're just like they see you do it and they're like, oh wow, cool, impressive, very polite. Should I'm not sure if I should email Miss Wilson that it wasn't my fault, or if that's weirder to be like, I had a greeter, but he betrayed. Her son's in that class, so like he's probably gonna tell her like, oh, he like freaked out after y'all left and like talked about how bad Jaden did. Yeah, no. I'm kind of glad they didn't come in for my 7th graders, but my first period 7th graders said they were actually good. My 5th period, they're always bad, so actually it's good. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna move on now. All right, we still don't want to forget these guys: who, which, what, whom, of whose, which, stuff like that. It's really not too bad. You're not gonna see them as much as we were around chapter 17 and 18, but they'll always be around. Real quick, guys, jot down the first and second to clinch. Sorry, e-learners, you can probably skip ahead. I'm gonna give them a couple minutes to work on the first and second to clinch on any surface. You can put it on the homework, like flip over the homework and write it somewhere on there. It doesn't matter. Yeah, just do it 2 by 5. That was the last thing I was talking about as they came in. I was talking about a 2 by. Yeah, that was where I said 2 by 5, but I was talking about the verb chart, which is 2 by 3. And so that's when all around. Okay. Remember, guys, we're going to check the second half of that paragraph tomorrow. Thursday will be Jeopardy. Friday, you'll have a sentence from not the homework to retranslate, but the ones we're going to go over right now. And then it'll be first and second declension. So just a second, it'll be both. All right, I'm going to flip on through. And also, guys, make sure you have something on your desk. I can't believe Grayson would do me dirty like that. Like, what? Oh, he was having a bad day or something? Like, I'm freaking, like, lift your head up on the desk for 5 minutes. Anyway, if one of you chooses to betray me, I'll forgive you. This is the first declension. Sorry if you were just starting to write. But raise your hand and be honest. Be brave. We don't judge you. It's fine. And there's also, it's a mixed group in here. Raise your hand if you're like, you know what, I don't really know the first declension yet. Anyone?
It's like, it's kind of hard to remember, but once you get the hang of it,
So Allie's coming around. Caden saying like, no, not yet.
No.
You have it. So y'all feel pretty good about first. Okay. All right. Cool. But well. So let's. I think y'all hate it when I do this kind of stuff. Let's see where we're at with it. Chloe, what are one or two of the second declension masculine positives? No, so whereas A and AE show up in like so many of the first declension endings, second declension is more about the vowels O, U, and I. A's only show up in two spots for the user. Right. So try to think of the country we live in, and then think of how actually it's the United Soviet States of Russia. So you can think of that R. So yeah, I think just the fact that there's two of them makes that a little tricky, I suppose. But think of so many of the loan words we have in our language stolen from Latin, like syllabus, stylus, virus, cactus, things like that that end in US. A lot of people think octopus is a second declension Latin word, but it's actually Greek. It does look like a second declension Latin word. All right, what is the genitive singular, Avery, of the second declension? And y'all better stop with the candy wrapper wrinkling and crinkling. They should come back. I hope they do come back so I do better this time. What's the genitive singular, Avery? Not O with the macron. You're kind of getting ahead of yourself. Sarah, what do you think the genitive singular is? It's the same as the nominative plural. How do we make a capital? Avery? Yes, it's the long I here and here. So I was going to say, how do we make cactus as plural? You can say cactuses, it's fine. But we usually, like, if you're trying to, like, show that you're aware that it's, like, from another language, and it has, like, a different kind of plural, it'd be cacti. Now, we don't pronounce this long I like I in Latin class. It's like E, yeah. And, but, like, if you say cacti, that would just you be, like, baiting someone to be like, that's not how you say it. Like, actually, I took Latin. I'm like, oh, that's right. Like in America, in an American accent, we say cacti, but Romans would have said cacti. These long I's are like E's. And I don't know if this helps, like the way we pronounce A-E is like I. So maybe that makes you think of the I for second declension. I don't know. What about the dative singular? I think this is what Avery was thinking about a second ago. Bailey, what is the dative singular for second declension? Single letter. Not sure? Elena? This is a single letter. Luke or Kate?
Isn't it just long?
Yeah, it's a long O. It does technically have a macron. I don't care too much about this macron. That's not the biggest deal to me. The macron on this A for first declension ablative, that's really the only macron I really care about you knowing about and like showing me. The other macrons, it's not a big deal. I do like you to know that there's macrons over those E's. Because that helps us pronounce them properly, East, not is, and it differentiates it from the third declension long is genitive that we'll talk about next week. But even those, you don't have to put those macrons on. I think some kids unfortunately think this is like TS for way too long. T. Anyway, it's O, it's IS, right? You already know the dative plural. It's the same as if you know the first declension, then you also know the second declension dative plural. And then I won't ask anybody about this. The ablative singular is also long O as well. All right. I'm going to keep having flashbacks to the last period. So if you see me just like suddenly smiling to myself and feeling bad, that's why. Sorry, what? Huh? Yeah. Accusative singular. What is that, Luke or Keaton? It's not AN, it's going to be UM. EM will be third declension accusative. And the accusative, it's not AS, but it's Lucy. It's OS. A lot of people here, they want us to say US, but this US is distinct. That US will only show up in the nominative singular, and that's it. So that's actually kind of convenient, I'd say. That's also the only time that a nominative isn't reused for the vocative, which I don't care about the vocative, but technically for US second declension nouns, they get the E for vocative. I care about vocative, I really don't. So yeah, AM, OS, the only thing we haven't done are genitive plural, which is what Adrian actually, not ARUM, but oh, he's Graysoning. No, Caden or Daniel? ORUM. Yeah, ORUM, which for the 1.5 students, I don't know if it's necessary about y'all's tests. We're going to give y'all back soon. Some of them actually put ORUM for first declension, but like, I don't really care too much about that. It's just one letter difference. It's not a huge deal. I could tell that person would still be able to recognize genitive plural regardless if it had A or O. But yeah, it's technically ORUM for the second declension. Sorry, Braden. And I think all the people in the front and like Sadie, I never got to y'all. But any tips or comments or questions about second to clinch? Y'all think this will be pretty easy on Friday? Okay, so let's go over the two lectiones that I'll pick one from to be the translation part. But like I'm saying, that translation part, that'll probably be the cakewalk, and you'll actually want to be worried about having first and second down perfectly. Because that'll be, I haven't decided if I'll make each one 1 point, and like if you get first, that's like half of the point, and if you get the second, it's like the full point, and my PowerPoint just closed. So at least that didn't happen. That happened last class too. So I think I need to clean up my MacBook a little or something. There's no reason for that, but it just like I don't have any weird animations happening. But like that would have been worse probably if that had happened. But yeah, first and second to clinch, guys. Just drill at the beginning of essay. Just take some responsibility. Get yourself a 2x5 and just run through them all. I forgot to ask about neuter, but let me show you guys neuter real quick and point them out, and then we'll move on. Dear Mr. Catalanello, unfortunately, our observation of your class this morning was very unfortunate. I'm asking you to step down from your position immediately. Please leave the building. No, I just got that. Okay. Nope, that's real. I just got that. So anyway, so the bonus for this one, I let 1.5 kids write the functions. If they wrote it perfectly, they got a bonus point. Let's get that for y'all. I'm gonna assume that you'll like know your function, please. And like that's not something that should be rewarded in terms of showing it to me. But you can get a bonus if you include the neuter endings in just the 3 places where they're different. So picture the chart you're gonna end up with. It will have, if you do this bonus, and it also has the A for first declension, like 4 endings in the nominative singular spot. So none of the other ones will get that big. But because there's 2 options for second declension and there's a neuter different one, there's gonna be 4 for the nominative spot if you're trying to get that bonus. And then put a weird A here and here to show me you know that these neuter words like concilium, donum, insidium, etc. They get an A for their plural subject or direct object form. And we hate those endings because they make us think of the first declension singular ending in the nominative. All right, guys. We got our passive verbs, Sarah, and that's stuff like are is, tor, more, me, intor, I am verb, you are verb, it is verb, we are verb, y'all are verb, they are verb. I realized today, so you know how you can translate present active verbs as like, laudo is like I praise, or it could be I was. It's another way to say laudo instead of just I verb. Make it present tense. Anyone? I realized last class that kids don't know how to do that. Anyone? Huh? No, but you got to make it present. So Sarah, please just like chill out when it's up class. I'm begging you. And then also Caden as well recently. But what was I gonna say? So no, we got to make it present tense. So you don't want the only helping verb you use is a form of to be. Yes. Amy, is that what you're gonna say? Yeah. Oh, no, that'd be making it passive, but that'd be making it passive. Yeah. So maybe it's something I should have insisted on because we had it was a Cicero reading where he's like, "What are y'all doing?" or "What are you doing, Cataline? What are you thinking?" And at first, kids were like, "Is it what do you think? What do you do?" And it's like it could be that, but what are you doing or verbing actually sounds a little better. So yeah, we can say laudo is just I praise, but it could also be I am praising. So like one might sound better than the other, like dependent on the context. But maybe if we had been doing that all along, it'd be like you are present tense verbing, it is present tense verbing, etc. Maybe we've been focusing on that all along. Use it like busting out a form of to be would be less weird for y'all, because that is what you're having to do with these passive verbs. You're having to bust out a version of to be that matches your subject, and it's going to be am, are, is, or are respectively. And then the verb. But it's like if say these are passive and he's not active, it would still be that way. We just like wouldn't make the verb simple past tense anymore. It would be you are verbing. We'd add ing instead of ed. Does that make sense a little bit? But anyway, we're still in this chapter for passive verbs. We have imperfect and future tense passive verbs. We have a blank slide. And then these are the 2 lectiones that I didn't print out for you guys. So you're going to have to take heavy notes on this one especially, hint, because this is probably one of the ones or the one that will show up on your quiz on Friday. So Libri Huius generis pueris magistro dabantur sed calci legebantur So libri, that's not liber like free, but libri like book. Genus generis is a word we haven't seen too much. Think of genre or yeah, genre actually. Did you know generic is the adjective version of genre? It's not just meaning something that is like commonplace. Anyway, genus generis. It's third declension. It's like type. We should be doing the word log, which I'll be checking on Friday finally. Huius is from what pronoun anyone? On Magischermer, Oz is just a short version of ob, which is either going to be from or maybe by if our verb is passive. And oh look, Dabentor here, it's passive, and it's from what verb is Dabentor from anyone out loud? Are all writing the whole sentence I see here. What? Dodari to give. Good. So it's not just the books, but maybe the books is our subject, like plural. The books. What case is both Huius and generis anymore? Harder? Yeah, so it's the books of this kind or that kind? It's this. Yeah, books of this kind. So, like how I want y'all to know that Eos here, E-I-U-S is his or her. Huius is like of this, and Ilius is of that. Those IUSs should be ideally like a big tip off that we're looking at genitive pronouns. For some reason, these pronouns, they don't belong to a certain declension. They often look pretty first and second declension-y, but they have weird genitives that are IUS for whatever reason. And their datas are like third declension style, like an I shows up. But other than that, usually they're actually first and second declension endings for hic, illa, and our third person persona. The books of this type, something about the boys, and there's a magister. But let's get to our verb. So I already said it's passive, so I don't do this that much anymore, but I'm going to do it. Let's have Caden, Braden. Okay, just my former 1.5 kids. I already said Dabentor is passive. Is it present passive or what tense? And y'all can say it out loud. Imperfect would be Dabentor, B-A. So this is. Well, I'm talking about tense, so I mean future. And so let's look at that. Because y'all probably missed, or at least some of y'all 1.5, former 1.5 kids, you missed my meme about bunch cake. Avery and other kids got that. But yeah, so for whatever reason, like the future tense seems to like this I showing up after B in most of its endings, except for the second person one, which is really weird. We don't see that too much. But then in the third person, it's not B-I-N-T, it's B-U-N-T, it's supposed to be you. And there's this futuristic bunch cake meme I use to help people remember that if you see that bunch ending, it's like gotta be future tense. Whereas someone said imperfect, so you're on the right track, but that'd be on toward the BA. The thing that is imperfect is BA across the board for all 6 of them. And then it's just like BA squeezed between the original verb stem and these new passive endings, are, restore, more, and before. So I like the imperfect ones. That's like where it's like was or were verbed. But future is like will be verbed. So books of this type, wait, what's going on here? Oh, okay. I see. I think I fix it on the next slide. So it shouldn't be were. I'm jumping to Legemontor. I fix it on the next slide, I think. But it's from Dabentor. So it's not were read. We'll get to were read. Maybe there will be a were read at the end of this. But at first, it's what? 1.5 kids or anyone except the people who often volunteer translate. How should we translate Dabentor? But not, huh? Make it future, make it passive, and it's from to give. Chloe? Yes, so will be what though? Huh? So this is Dodare, this is red. So I still know this is like really confusing. But for Dodare, for Daventor, it'd be not for Lucy? Yeah, books of this type will be given. Do I fix it on them? Yes, I do. Okay, there it is. So whereas imperfect, you're having like go between was and were depending, and present is like and is and are, which is like kind of annoying because you're having to go between 3 different possibilities. Future passive is always the same 2 helping verbs. It's will and be every time. I will be verb, you will be verb, it will be verb. So I'd say it's probably the least common of these passives. Like we're not gonna see it that much. But when it does show up, it's just like will be verb, and that's it. You don't have to be like, is it was, is it were, is it am, is it is, it's are. It's just will be verb. Will be given. I flashed on the screen, but nobody saw it. will be given by who? The boys or the teacher? Hayden, Dan, Parker, Keaton, Luke, Adrian, Andrew, Braden. Huh?
By the teacher.
Yeah, probably by the teacher. Now, how do I even know that? Just like context. What? So, what do you think?
I thought it would have been like, wait, never mind.
So we're still not at Legae Bontour, and that's like my fault. Like I was making that mistake too. But it's almost like we have like this sentence up to this point, and then said Palki Legae Bontour is almost like a second little like.
I thought it would have been like.
That makes sense. They'd probably be close to each other. Like it'd be Daventour et Legae Bontour if they wanted it to all happen with the same clause. Which this is mostly just one clause, but then it's like a tiny little clause, and that's when Legae Bontour will use. But will be given by the teacher. I guess just context, because look, like pueris could be the object of awe, and this is an ablative of what? Not means, because they're people. It's an ablative of agent, because yeah, that's when we have a passive verb. Our awe will show up with a ablative of agent, whereas if it was like an inanimate object, that'd be an ablative of means, so we wouldn't need the of or the of, which I'll need to, I think, let me gloss on of, it'll only be on the slide. But given by the teacher. So what do we do with pueris? If they're not, because like I said, it could have been pueris, but I guess just on context, like why would boys be giving books to the teacher? But so what do we do with the boys? So it's either from with a indicative verb, sorry, yeah, to the boys, good. But we're mostly going to be seeing it this chapter, especially as by with a passive. I meant active verb. And we're like in a sweeter part of the textbook in this class. They should have come to this class. They should have come here. Okay. Books of this type. I just need to. I'm sure all the teachers are gonna have stories like this. Like, oh, when they came into my class, Malachi was breakdancing on the table. It could be, but no. Usually, it's like I'm sure the teachers' labs it'll be filled with stories like that today, and I'll make you feel better. It'll be great. Like, you find much worse things happen than David forgetting to read. Jaden, Jack. Yeah. We like, oh, lost us the $1 million grant the rich people are gonna give us for this part. Maybe they'll be like, hey, like we were gonna give you a big check, but we didn't get greeted in that one class, and that was really rude. We felt very unwelcome, and the teacher seemed a little scatterbrained. And he should have like dealt with that kid who was refusing to read the things he was told to read. Okay, books of this type will be given by the teacher to students. So it turns out pueris is not ablative like magistro was to be an ablative agent, but it's like an indirect object, right? We're giving a direct object to the boys. But what? Palki Legae Bontour. We already kind of gave away Legae Bontour, so that is past tense, not future. So Parker or Dan. Few were read. So few were read. That's what I thought. No, actually, you're right. What did you think, Dan?
I didn't say read, but I suppose.
Yeah, so it will be passive. So were read is good. I went back and forth. It'll be few or read. Yeah, because it's like few is the new subject. It's agreeing with our third person plural verb here, and it's referring to like the books, like few or read. For a second, I wanted to be like, if it was like Palkis, that could have been like, but the books were read by few, but it's not by few. That's not another ablative of agent. That would have to be Palkis or Any questions? So guys, this will be the one on the quiz. I'm not gonna be like, oh, maybe I'll pick the next. The thing is, even though there's like do like the owners, I don't know what happened in the workbook. The next one doesn't even have a passive verb. So like this is the chapter about passive verbs. I'm gonna give you this on Friday, and I'm gonna ask about the tense and the voice of Daventour and Legae Bontour. You just need to be able to differentiate that Daventour is future passive, and when I say voice, I mean you're gonna say it's passive. They're not active. We never talked about voice until now, so we didn't have to worry about it. And this one is imperfect tense, also passive voice. A night-ass person and number, they're both third plural, but that should be the least of your worries. Oh, also the other thing I'll ask about, so I'll ask, because I'll probably be like Daventour. No, I'll split them up. I'll ask about Daventour's tense and voice, Legae Bontour's tense and voice, and then Magistro's case and function, and you'll need to say ablative of agent. If it wasn't like by the teacher and it was like by the school, ludus is the word we have for school, there'd be no or it would just be like, it'd be like Ludo, and we'd just say like they were given by the school. which feels borderline HNT because school is kind of like made up of people, but that would be ablative of mean. But remember, we can still have ablative of mean show up, and we would use by with it instead of with in the context of a sentence of a passive verb. So, Kaden, I want to check in. How are things going in terms of your week? Because, like, other kids have gone through it, the textbook more linearly. But how is your roundabout nonlinearity working out so far? Are you coming back around now that we're going over things like first and second declension? Do you feel like things are connecting for you? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I thought you were going to give us a large TED Talk style speech about it, but it's fine. So, it's not out. Ignore that. Ignore that. I'll delete it. All right, let's do the less important second lectiones. Can I go ahead, though? Everyone's got, like, everything for this? All right. What? Okay, we're going to talk about Thetis and Peleus. Did I not have that sentence? I know I did it. Okay, we're not even doing the second sentence. Cool. All right, this is the reading. So get out your homework, and we'll do the part that you don't have to do. This is about Thetis and Peleus, who are whose parents? Whose parents, I mean? Huh? Achilles? Someone said it. Yeah, you guys will know that for sure next year when you read Iliad and Ancient Lit. But I don't know. Thetis is like the sea nymph lady. She is like a minor goddess. She's not super important. There's a whole lot of weird water and sea related deities that are not Poseidon. But she is one of the sea nymphs that is a little more important. And there's a prophecy, I believe, that her child will overcome their father. So Zeus is like almost gonna have a kid with her or something, and then he doesn't when he hears that. I guess like Peleus doesn't hear it or something. But anyway. Yeah, Achilles is definitely a better warrior than Peleus. I don't think we know Peleus as a warrior, but I forget him a little bit. Yep.
So like a nymph is like a demigod, basically?
Nymphs are like minor deities. Yeah, like very minor. Like I almost don't think of them as gods. But like forest and woodland nymphs and like sea nymphs, they're definitely on a lower rung than like a full-on divine presence like Apollo or Diana or something. We should talk more about Thetis. I'll look into her a little more. I'm a little rusty. I haven't taught that Iliad class in a little while. So Palkis Oris. How can we translate Palkis Oris just right off the bat? Cora, Sadie, Sarah, Callie. Palkis Oris are presents. It means few hours, but I bet we don't want to just say few hours, comma. This should be the top of y'all thing, is it not? Oh my. Wow.
What does story start in a few hours?
Yeah, well, so we can still talk about that. Well, maybe we can still do this. Maybe I just left out the first sentence. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what happened. Guys, it is the second sentence. Okay. But I just, in my head, I thought it was the thing. So let's just do it real quick. It's the second sentence, then we'll get into the story. But what? It's not few hours, it's what? Yes. What preposition can we add to few hours to make it sound like good English? Yeah, in a few hours. That's called an ablative of time when. Y'all do need to know that concept yesterday, so that's a real thing. In a few hours. So if you Keaton, are y'all definitely going to at least pick up your head in Atrium if somebody does come back? And I know they're not going to. But they should tell us that, like, they're like, oh, until May. Oh, 5? Oh, I have 1. Thank you.
Trying to get you hooked so you keep buying.
I will, gladly. Samoas have become my favorite.
No, only me. Ignore her.
No, I think, didn't we have this discussion and I was like, you would be the person? Because there was another, it's only in my first period class, but like anyway. So, I think I could, right? Well, all right, well, thank you, Cora. That actually lightens my mood. It helps me to get over the trauma of last period. In a few hours, who was I asking? But y'all get that? Like, we see a period of time in the ablative, and we know we can add something like in or on. If it's something like a day, like on that day. But hopefully y'all know that. You can use in or on or like within. And then 1 hour for you. In a few hours, Illa Flumina Calaria. Anyone? What's that going to be? That's Swift River. That Swift Rivers? I think Flumen would be singular, so this must be those Swift Rivers. Good, yeah, this is an adjective we haven't seen that much, but those Swift Rivers in a few hours. Let's skip and come back. This is what? This is from Coipy. That means began. Coipy is trapped in the perfect system. It can never be present, future, or imperfect. Well, what kind of perfect is it here? A 1.5 kid. Is this perfect, blue perfect, or future perfect? That would be errant, UNT. So what helping verb do we want to use? We don't want to just say began. We want to say length begun. Huh? Better than H, huh? Had, yeah, sorry, he likes that three times. Yeah, those Swift verbs had begun. So guys, we're supposed to be so detail-oriented that if you see an ERA in the ending of a verb that is probably in the perfect system, we want to bust out had. We've at this point just kind of accepted that if it's perfect, just treat it the same as if it's imperfect. Perfect and imperfect should just be verb. But if it's pluperfect, it's had verb. Technically, I taught for a long time that you use has or have for perfect. But like, I'm going to stop teaching it that way. Oh yeah, I'm about to teach chapter 12 with my 1.5 kids next week. But I'm just like not going to talk about has or have. I'll mention it, but I'm just going to say do it verb. Do it as verb. Yeah. Anyway, Avery and other people who agree on the perfect tenses, that's in chapter 12, where you realize that present, imperfect, and future are just like three of the tenses. There's actually something called the perfect system, which is just three other tenses. And perfect tense is translated just like imperfect. Verb. I verb, you verb, it verb. They're the same basically, so it feels redundant. Technically, it can be I have verb or you have verb or it has. But we just don't have to worry about those verses like imperfects, like I was verbing, you were verbing, were it was verbing. And then blue perfect is had verb, and future is will have verb. But we never see future perfect, so let's just not even think about it. So you really just see perfect and blue perfect. Those swift rivers had begun. Anyone who can finish it off so we can get to Achilles? To flow into the river, the huge sea, rather, the huge sea. Okay, it's into the huge sea because it's an accusative objecto. Okay, but I'm not gonna pick this one. Like, how would they have made this one passive? Maybe because I don't think there's a passive of to flow. Like I am flowed, you are flowed. So I don't think there is a passive possibility. We are flowed. All right, now we're on the ring. Greetings, OD Deaque. Back to the homework now, finally. What is that? Greetings, OD Deaque. What do y'all think? Oh, everything starting with the word legite halfway through. Greetings, OD. What if I just kept saying it for like the whole? What would that be? Oh, gods and goddesses, greetings. No stare is our. Okay, we are using our weekly word chart and also writing down the translation. Greetings, oh gods and goddesses. Our friend Peleus. What? Anyone? Someone finish it for me. Our friend Peleus. So it's our friend Peleus. Hapea has. Yeah, great plans. Good. Our friend Peleus has great plans. So I'll just tell you on now, Duco plus in matrimonia. Matrimonia means marriage. And for some reason, this is like the phrase that Romans would use to describe marrying someone. So duquette in matrimonia, like literally that's will lead a direct object into marriage. Well, let's just say marries. Let's just say marries. But like, know that it literally means lead into marriage. That's just like how Romans would say to marriage. But we can just say marriage. So he already gave away the tense, but it's what if it's duco ducra that E actually doesn't mean present and mean? You know what? It's future, yeah, because the third and fourth, and they get those E's and he gets future. He will lead the what direct object? The nymph fetus into marriage, or he will just marry the nymph fetus is the way we There's fetus looking real nymphy. Riding a hippocampus. Interesting.
That would be uncomfortable. Like there's spikes all along the tail.
I don't see that many spikes. Like it could be a spikier sea creature, but yeah, you're probably right. She's going side saddle. Kind of cool. She's got a shield. My friend Peleus is a great plan. You will marry the fetus. Y'all therefore something may Jupiter to Thessaly will come in. What's that, Lucy?
Yeah,
It does.
What could be? All of a sudden?
What's a nice one?
I mean, I kind of thought it too.
Oh, I guess so. Maybe that.
I kind of no, I do. Is it fire or smoke or is it like?
It's like a smoking
I almost
We shouldn't.
well, yeah, that's why I'm worried. I don't want to like be like, you know, or something.
Well, what he died?
Well, we should probably die for the sake of I don't know. Should y'all line up and let's line up, guys. We're gonna be really, really quietly.
We're gonna all the other classes are gonna
I want to talk to them because I feel like that sounds fire. It's nothing. I don't want to. No, I don't touch my nose, but y'all are saying it smells like gas. Okay, let's all stay, and then we're gonna leave. So really, let me do this quick. Y'all go ahead, fight in the hallway.
This is valuable
It almost, I almost feel like I can see something little. I mix that up. Hello, hey, this is Mr. Catalano in the Latin room. We're gonna step out my class. We kind of smell something that almost smells like a gas leak. It might be melting.
Okay, I'm gonna send Mr. Thorne up right now, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's just I
Yeah, this is horrible. Don't breathe, everyone. Don't breathe.
What?
I'm like, yeah, I'm like,
It's better.
No, there's a different.
This is fine now. Yeah, I first.
Do I smell it? Yes.
Yes.
It smells good.
I need this school to flow. Once in a flicker, the lights are.
Seashore.
No, it's just no. Oh yeah. Is it there? Yeah. It smells like cocaine.
What? Put the back in my pocket. I was saying, I had to put this in my backpack. You don't look directly in my pocket.
I know. Wow.
Need my mask.
Smells like it everywhere. You just say it smells like my house.
Yeah, maybe we'll have another fire drill. Or actually,
Honestly, I'm scared. Why do you go back in? Yeah, it smells like propane. Okay, I think it's the projector in the other room because everyone's in that other room.
yeah, but I saw a ninth grader said that it smelled like that.
I know it's projected in the other room.
It smells like my house, and we don't like around fire. So, I mean,
And they said it was diesel, but this did not smell like diesel. Yeah, it is.
What? All right, people, if you made it to the end of the video, that got interrupted because of a possible gas leak. Goodbye. Goodbye.